Pepsi says, "Hi Abe, thanks for making such awesome content for both the more advanced and us noobs. I would love for you to take a look at my portfolio and give me critique on what I should do next and if my works are not good to have on there. I want to be a 3D character artist for games or movies. However, I'm currently planning on doing a bit of props too, since it's hard to get into character artist positions in Sweden without 6+ years of experience in the field. Any feedback and ideas of what projects to add next would be really appreciated." Let's take a look. Okay, so I can immediately see that you do want to be a character artist because we have plenty of characters. Let's take a look at some of this stuff. What is this? Okay, so this one immediately, like the environment, very blocky, right? Like the walls are very blocky. The shots, like things are not like working great. The character is fine. It looks like a cool character. Kind of looks like Jinx a little bit. I'm not sure if you were going for that sort of like hand-painted approach, like arcane approach style. We gotta be careful about this. Yeah, we gotta be careful about this kind of stuff. Like for instance, if you're already telling me that this is your 3D animation, we don't need credits where you say that you did everything. You can just say created by Yuno Strandberg, and that's fine. Again, that I don't know, it feels a little bit like cheeky to be saying that. I don't think this is a great project for portfolio. I know it was a great project for learning. Hopefully you did learn a lot with that particular like asset. But I think this character, for instance, is way more interesting for your portfolio. It's definitely a more clean style, right? Like there's not a lot of complexity in terms of materials or in terms of forms. It's a lot more simple. It reminds me a little bit of the Miraculous. Is that the name? Miraculous. Yeah, this TV series. I know it's very famous. It has like a big fandom. And most of the designs, as you can see right here, are very sort of like simple, right? Like there's nothing super complex to them. So it reminds me a little bit of that. It also reminds me a little bit of the black girl in Arcane. What's her name? May? I think it was May. So it's cool. It's nice. Your topology is fine. Your render is fine. The hair is really complex. It's quite nice. Yeah, in this particular case, I would probably look at series like this one, like the Miraculous series, or like movies like the ones from the guys at Imagination or Pixar, and see what else we could add to make the character look a little bit more interesting. Because again, even though it's not bad, I do feel the design is a little bit bland, right? Mel, yeah, there you go, Mel. Thank you. The look, yeah, the hair, I agree. The hair looks great. But it's the lack of detail. So here's remember, I mean, we were talking about this earlier with the cupcake example. So we already have really good primary shapes and really good secondary shapes. Like the body and the construction of everything is looking quite nice. We need that cherry on top, right? Like we need that like final thing. So for instance, here, what we could do, or what I would do probably, is I would add a couple more patterns. So for instance, if we start adding some like patterns here on the dress, something interesting, probably a little bit more here on the lower section, a little bit less as we go up. Same here. Now we could add some like interesting patterns here, maybe on the neck a little bit. See? So that just like it's like that little cherry on top that can help us like make the whole thing a little bit more interesting. Here's another thing. This is a corset. I'm not gonna look for corset stuff because we're gonna be seeing some things that we shouldn't be seeing here on the live stream. But one thing that I can tell you is that we are missing like the seam line, right? Sometimes we have some seam lines here, and we could add a little bit of that. We could add a little bit of like some stitches or something like that. Just something to make the elements a little bit more interesting, a little bit more yeah, just that level of complexity that we're missing. This is a very important thing. So when you're doing cloth, anytime you're doing cloth, for instance, if we look for a coat, or not a coat, but yeah, a coat is fine. So if we look for any type of cloth, one thing you're gonna see is that very often, every piece of garment, we have a border. They usually sew like a border or something. So I would expect to see that border around these elements. Right, like a stitching or like an interesting border here, just to separate that thing. Same for this one, like a stitch down the middle, like here, another stitch to reinforce that like part. Those are important elements, and it can be the same material. This could just be a height thing that you use. You guys have seen the path tool, right, inside of Substance Painter. Here, we have this Doom mask right here. And if I want to add a little bit more complexity to the elements without doing any modeling or any sculpting, we can use something called path tool or the path tool. So I'm gonna add a new paint layer right here, or a new fill layer rather. And this fill layer, I'm gonna turn on the height, and I'm gonna push the height down. I'm gonna change the color to something like black so that it's easier to see, and I'm gonna add a black mask. And in this black mask, I'm gonna add a paint layer. In this paint layer, I'm gonna go to this button right here, which is the path or paint along path. And now the only thing I need to do is I need to draw this curve right here. Okay. So we go all the way over here. There we go. And I can play with the size of this curve. And the cool thing is, this curve is procedural, so I can change this at any point. I have a video about this on the YouTube channel, which is with this like a path tool that you can use to create these details. And as you can see, we can add details without having to go back to our high poly. So that stuff now lives on the helmet itself. If we go back here to the color, for instance, and we remove the color, that's only height information that we're adding now, right? And by doing that, we can just incorporate something cool into the design without having to do a lot of work. Okay, so yeah, that would be my advice for you. That's our good friend Yuno. So make sure to add a little bit more complexity on those characters, to make sure that they just pop a little bit more. Same for this one. This one looks a little bit more like hand-painted stuff, so we definitely need to have a little bit more of that. I didn't have Substance Painter when I did the character, so I was kind of limited to Blender. Oh, I see. Well, yeah, that's definitely something, Juno. I can understand now then that there was a limitation. If you can get Substance Painter with a student license or something, try to get it, because it's gonna really open up the complexity and the level of quality that you can deliver on your stuff, okay?